The corona infection in the last 3 days has posed a threatening spread rate as another 800 plus positive cases were detected yesterday. The concerned authorities, including officials from the CCMC, have recommended the government to shut down schools without delay, considering a high risk of virus transmission. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. COVID Response Agency CCMC urges the government to shut down schools in the face of a surging corona graph. 841 new cases added to the country's COVID-19 tally. Nepal government maintains conspicuous silence over Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's controversial remarks on Lipu Lake. Opposition calls it diplomatic lapses. At least 19 people killed, including 9 children and scores others injured in an apartment building fire in New York. Officials say 13 people are being treated in critical condition. And Cameroon come from behind to snatch a 2-1 win against Burkina Faso. Cape Verde sneak a 1-0 win over 10-men Ethiopia as the African Cup of Nations kicks off. COVID-19 Control and Management Center or CCMC has recommended the government to close schools until 29th of January, citing recent spike in COVID-19 cases. The CCMC has also recommended the government to make vaccination cards mandatory at public places and limit gatherings to not more than 25 people. The CCMC meeting held yesterday decided to recommend the government to close secondary level schools until 29th of this month. CCMC also recommended to inoculate students in 12 to 17-year age group with COVID-19 vaccines during this period and to provide the jabs to individuals above the age group 18. Vaccination cards have been made mandatory for those seeking public services from 21st of January onwards. Gatherings of over 25 people will also be restricted, while vaccination cards will be mandatory at stadiums, parks, movie theatres and for domestic flights. Likewise, the CCMC has also decided that individuals entering Nepal from abroad will have to present vaccination cards and mandatorily present a PCR report taken at least 72 hours ahead of arrival. Those arriving from the 9 countries where the Omicron variant of coronavirus was detected will have to stay in quarantine or isolation as per the COVID Response Agency. Another 841 individuals tested positive for coronavirus as 8,848 samples were tested through the PCR method yesterday. Kathmandu district has continued to report highest daily infection with 491 new cases, followed by Lalitpur with 99 new cases. Meanwhile, 224 individuals have registered full recovery. The country's death toll due to COVID-19 climbed to 11,604 with 2 more deaths, while there are 6,755 active cases in the country as of the latest updates, which includes 6,127 in home isolation, 77 in intensive care units and 16 patients being treated with ventilator support. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, 45,493 individuals received COVID-19 vaccines yesterday. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during a program in Uttarakhand just a few days ago, had publicly announced that India had expanded the roadway at Lipu Lake, a territory which has been claimed by Nepal in its political map. The Foreign Ministry in Nepal, in response to Premier Modi's statement, has only said that the matter is being discussed but is yet to release any official version. More in this report.
This was what Indian Prime Minister had to say in Uttarakhand's Haldwani regarding the road expansion from Lipu Lake to Mansarovar.
जो मानसरोवर का प्रवेश द्वार था, सड़कों से वंचित रहा। हमने न सिर्फ टनकपुर पिथौरागढ़ ऑल वेदर रोड पर काम किया, बल्कि लीपू लेक तक की भी सड़क बनाई और इस पर आगे भी विस्तार कार्य चल रहा है।
Prior to this, Indian Minister for Defence Rajnath Singh had inaugurated the roadway without Nepal's notice. The KP Sharma Oli-led erstwhile government last year had released the political and administrative map by including Lipu Lake, Limpiadhura and Kalapani region. The Indian government has not accepted the latest map issued by Nepal, while on the contrary, it has expedited construction of roadways on territories claimed by Nepal. The Nepal government, meanwhile, is yet to raise any voice against the Indian hegemony. The officials are trying to evade the question by saying that Modi's remarks are being analysed. The main opposition, in the meantime, has termed the government's lack of response as diplomatic lapses. In January 2021, Nepal and India had signed an agreement to resolve all border disputes through dialogue. India is yet to take the agreement seriously. The ruling Nepali Congress, in the meantime, has said that it is sensitive to bilateral issues between the two countries. However, the government's silence on the dispute, according to experts, is highly unfortunate.
The central bank has said that it would be challenging to meet the government's projected target of 7% economic growth. The central bank governor Mahaprasad Adhikari, during yesterday's meeting of the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, viewed that it would be challenging to meet the projected economic growth target of 7%. Governor Adhikari clarified that the economic this year has been dented due to the impact of unseasonal rains on paddy, while the GDP has failed to achieve desired growth as the service sector and industries have remained affected amid the prolonged pandemic. The freight hike by shipping companies and price hike in petroleum products, among others, have added the challenge of maintaining the inflation rate below 6%. In the face of a massive liquidity crisis triggered by increase in imports, the central bank 5 months ago had piped out 270 billion rupees into the country's banking sector. Joint Secretary Madhukumar Marasini said that the policies have been formulated to discourage the import of needless goods. The Finance Ministry has meanwhile said that internal loan might further fuel the liquidity crunch, and therefore loans would be taken from international organizations such as World Bank and International Monetary Fund. The budget has provisioned for the internal loan of 239 billion rupees, out of which only 6 billion rupees has been collected this fiscal year. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked in several provinces, why has the budget sanctioned for the construction of sports infrastructures not been utilized? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
सम्बन्धित निकायहरुको अलि लापरवाही जस्तो लाग्छ।
खेलकुद विकास समितिले पनि यसमा बढी से बढी चासो दिनुपर्छ।
राजनीतिक दबाव जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई।
बनाउने भन्दा पनि कमाउनेतिर ध्यान दिएको हो।
मागी खाने भाँडो बनाएका छन्।
जिम्मा लिएर बसेको व्यक्तिहरु नै पारदर्शी नभएको कारणले चाहिँ यो बजेट सदुपयोग नभएको।
सरकारवालाले चासो नदेखाएर
Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what's your take on provincial government's rivalry regarding investment on unproductive sector and religious infrastructure? Your options are A, lack of foresight, B, ballot politics, and C, lack of public votes. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.